Hey everyone, welcome to the Bruce Williams channel. Let's do a wrist check. Today, actually just for this video, I put on the Breitling Super Ocean Heritage 42 blue dial on the mesh. This is in for review. I filmed macro on it recently. I'm working on the video presentation. It is a gorgeous watch. It is really special. I owned the 44 millimeter variation a year or two ago, and I really enjoyed that one. I think this one is a little bit better. The size, the proportions, I think work a little bit more. So anyways, let's get to the topic today. I want to talk a little bit about watch experiences and maybe some examples of mistakes I've made or seller's remorse. Sometimes I get seller's remorse. Occasionally, not very often, I get buyer's remorse. And I want to talk about why I enjoy flipping watches. I know some of you don't get it. It does not make sense to you. You measure twice, you cut once, you do your research, you buy it right the first time, and you don't flip. You don't have commitment issues, right? You don't get the flipping. Let me try to explain it a little bit. I know there's no one way to go about enjoying this hobby. You can enjoy keepers. You can enjoy the hunt. You can enjoy flipping watches. I think it's all fine, and I'll get into the reasoning. But first, let's start with an experience. Let's start with the watch that I can't keep, but I can't quit. And that is the Seiko Marine Master. I bought my first Marine Master. I want to say it was 2015, 2016. I can't quite remember at this point. But I bought the 017, and I loved that piece. It was one of the very first produced that came out with the MEMS technology, with the new LumiBrite. But it had the old style bracelet. It had the old style applied markers, and I loved that piece. And that was the very early days of my YouTube channel. Maybe some of you found my channel because of my Seiko Marine Master videos. So I ended up keeping that for, I want to say 7 or 8 months before I ended up flipping it and buying a Black Bay ETA burgundy bezel Tudor diver. And I really enjoyed that Black Bay. I ended up flipping that. And at this point, I don't remember what that turned into. There's been so many over the years, so many in sequence that I can't keep track of them. I go from maybe mid-level, buy a few affordable, sell those affordable, get a luxury piece, go back to mid-level. You know, I've had a lot of watch experiences. But anyways, I sold that Marine Master and I ended up going, ooh, I missed that watch. That was kind of my watch, right? That was kind of my model. So in the back of my mind, you know, I had that seller's remorse. I'm like, I'm going to rebuy. Talk to Jeff McMahon. He's the king of the rebuy of Seikos. I think he's rebought the Sumo like 5 times, I want to say. Awesome channel. Definitely subscribe to Jeff if you haven't seen his channel yet. I'll put a link in the description. But anyways, yeah, what the Sumo was for Jeff, the Marine Master was for me. So I rebought the Marine Master. I rebought the 017. And this time I experienced a little bit of buyer's remorse, right? Opposite of the seller's remorse. And why? Well, Seiko had changed the model a little bit, and I hadn't done my homework. I didn't know that the way they did their applied markers, the way they did their lume, the way they did the bracelet just wasn't as good. I didn't enjoy it as much. It was more mass-produced and kind of cheap feeling, and I was like, ugh, I'm going to sell this one. I don't think I kept that one for more than a couple months, and I want to say it was a Doxa Sub 300 that replaced that watch in the collection. Again, so many, I can't remember. I can't remember. Again, you might be thinking, Bruce, you need some help, man. You've got some issues. No, we'll get to that. So I sold it. I had the seller's remorse. And then eventually I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy this right now. I'm educated. I've done my homework. I know the one to get is the 001. The original Marine Master that had the old style markers, the old style bracelet. It didn't have the Dia Shield treatment. It had that lovely hint of a cream tone in natural light LumiBrite that had that undulation. It was gorgeous. It had that artisan feel. Like, you know that this was hand applied, hand painted. It wasn't machine dropped in, filled, whatever. It was a work of art. So I bought a Marine Master 001, and wouldn't you know it, it was produced the same month in the same year as my oldest child, my daughter. And I'm like, The heavens have opened. I've got the ultimate Marine Master. It is a birth month, birth year watch for my oldest. One day I'm going to give this to my daughter. That's what I thought. And the more I wore the watch, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what? I'm just lying to myself. I didn't buy this for my daughter. I bought this for me. I'm selfish. My daughter, when she gets older, she's not going to want a chunky, ugly 20-year-old Marine Master from Japan. What is she going to do with a 45 millimeter watch, 44 millimeter watch? I'm sure at some point she'll want something of sentimental value from her father. But if I'm going to give her a meaningful gift, it's not going to be a Marine Master that happened to be produced the same time that she came into this world. So I ended up selling it. That was my third Marine Master. I'm not done. I bought another one. I bought the blue one. I can't remember the reference. It's an SLA reference, but it had a gorgeous sunray blue dial. Sadly, no Marine Master text on the dial. They did put the ugly, Pro Specs PS icon on the face of the watch, but it had a blue ceramic bezel, partially loomed bezel insert, and that thing was probably the most visually stunning Marine Master that I've tried. And I've tried the green one, the original, the first time they've come out with ceramic and sapphire. I tried that one. Of course, I've tried all the 017s, the 001. So I had that for a while, and then I ended up moving on from it. And here's the thing, guys. Here's the crazy part. I'm probably not done with the Marine Master. I'll probably buy another one whenever Seiko releases something that's really enticing. Maybe a special version, maybe a cool dial, maybe a limited release. I'm not sure, but eventually I'm sure I'll probably get a Marine Master again. Maybe I see a deal that's just too good to pass up, and I'm like, yes, I need my watch in my watch box. I need that Marine Master. I love it enough to where I don't want to live without it, but I don't love it enough to where I need to keep it. Does that make sense? Maybe I am a little bit crazy. Here's the thing. There's this stigma here in the hobby where there's something wrong with you if you don't want to keep a watch, right? You're not financially or fiscally responsible. Right? You're losing money. You're bleeding. You're hemorrhaging money. You're going after something that's shiny. There's something wrong with your life. Maybe you can't connect with another individual. I think it's funny when I hear people, trying to be a psychologist in the comment section of YouTube, like they know, like they know you, they know they can diagnose you. I think that's kind of funny. No, here's the thing. Some people enjoy spending money, let's say on like golf, right? They'll get a membership to a club and they'll spend a ton of money. They'll have some fun experiences and they'll enjoy their hobby. I kind of see flipping through watches very similarly. Like I understand if I buy a watch and resell it, I'll probably lose a little bit of money depending on how I purchase the watch. Now, some brands you can make money on, some brands you can cut even, some brands definitely you lose money on, no doubt about that. But it's a sunk cost, right? If you lose a little bit on a flip, that is a cost of ownership, right? You're essentially renting that watch. You're spending a little bit of money for that membership at the golf club so you can have a fun experience. And it's different from looking at a watch in an authorized dealer. It's different from seeing it at a meetup and grabbing a wrist shot, right, from your buddy. You're experiencing that watch. You're wearing it. Maybe you sleep with it. Maybe you shower with it. Maybe you go on vacation with that watch. You have some experiences and then eventually you let go of it. And that is your watch experience. You might not have had it otherwise if you just keep all the time. Does that make sense? And so it's not necessarily the hunt. It's having the experience of the watch, at least for me. But I think some people can take it to an unhealthy level. Like I've known a couple guys. I won't name names. I definitely don't throw people under the bus, or I don't try to. But I've known guys that they liked the hunt. They didn't really care about the watch. It wasn't about the watch. They could be collecting Beanie Babies, rare stamps, coins, whatever it is. Like it was all about the hunt and was less about the item. Like they would buy something. It was in transit to them. They hadn't even unboxed it. They haven't even put it on wrist yet. And they're already looking for a buyer and looking to buy something else. Like it was that crazy, that fast. I think at that point, there might be something you need to calm down, take a step back, take a breather, examine what's really going on. I think at that point, it might be unhealthy. But if you're just cycling to experience another watch, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I don't collect watches. I collect watch experiences. I don't have keeper watches, and I don't try to fool myself into thinking that I have a keeper watch, no matter how awesome the watch is, no matter how much I may have bonded with it or what a great deal I might have got on it. I think that actually might be even harder. If you got a really good price, like a steal of a deal on a watch, wouldn't you even be more enticed to sell it, to make a little bit of money, opportunistically, and turn that into an even nicer watch or multiple watches? Maybe you spent $700 on a Seiko, you ended up selling it, let's say, for $1,000, and then you got two $500 watches as opposed to keeping one watch that you spent $700 on. I mean, you can see the type of conundrum sometimes you can get into, and it's kind of fun. I think there's always going to be another watch around the corner, whether you know what that watch is yet or not. Like sometimes I hit a rut. I go, nothing's really jumping out. Not very excited. I'm in a rut. I'm in a lull. Eventually that leaves, that ends, and there's a watch that speaks to you and grabs you and goes, yes, check me out. I'm awesome. You would enjoy me on your wrist. And I go, heck yeah, I would. And I buy that watch. Eventually it always happens. And so whenever I experience a regret, say with the Marine Master or the Nomos Club Sport 42 Neomatic, I loved that piece. That was a heck of a watch that I wasn't quite ready to sell, but a good friend of mine said, hey, Bruce, I love that. You did a great video. Let me buy that watch from you. And I went, you know what? Eventually I will sell this. So why not sell it now? Why not sell it to a good friend of mine? I let go of that watch a little bit too soon, I think. I've let go of some amazing pieces like the Air King. I love the Air King. That's an awesome watch. The Seamaster, the chrome dial, the one that nobody else likes. I love that watch. I sold that watch en route to paring down the collection and buying my Grail piece, my Overseas. I don't have any regrets necessarily in doing that because I've had a new experience with the Overseas, and I wouldn't trade that. Even though it was probably a better idea just to keep the Air King, just to keep the Seamaster, and not experience that Vacheron Constantin maybe, 5 years later than I would have otherwise. It's all relative, guys. So anyways, I've had experiences. I've had regrets. I've had buyer's remorse, seller's remorse. I've had mistakes. I've committed mistakes in this hobby, but I've had a lot of great experiences, and I'm okay with that. And I look forward to many more experiences in the future in this hobby. It's a really fun hobby, and I'm glad to be documenting it and sharing it with you guys and reviewing watches and talking about these silly topics that only guys watching this video still, 13 minutes into it can understand and can relate to. We're a rare breed. We're a weird breed, but man, this is a fun hobby. So guys, let me know in the comments. Do you have any experiences of buyer's remorse or seller's remorse? What mistakes have you made? What experiences have you had that have shaped you in this hobby? And what do you look forward to doing? I'd like to hear your take. Put it in the comments. Thanks for watching today. And you know what? You can disagree with me. You can call me a fool. You can call me a tool. You can call me a watch snob. You can call me crazy. You can call me ugly. I'm not going to get offended. We all experience this hobby a little bit differently, but we all share this hobby. We have that in common. So let's chat in the comments. Thanks for watching today, and I'll catch you real soon.